There's a saying about governance. The faster a society moves, the lighter its chains must be. But what happens when the chains are cast aside completely and speed itself becomes the only virtue? Welcome to the Clockwork Exploratorium. This ship moves between possibilities, slipping through realities as easily as pages turning in a book. Some worlds teach us, others challenge us, and some, perhaps, should never have been seen at all.
A soft hum fills the air. The stars outside bend and ripple like water. The ship drifts between realities, a golden orb of data swirling ahead. Photonic haze on the event horizon of a data nebula. The vacuum sings in microwave, eerie but almost melodic. Did you ever think we'd see an entire planet run by algorithmic consensus? No votes, no dissent, just computation. Tell me, Curator, did you ever imagine an algorithm sworn in like a head of state?
We once knighted steam engines, crowned cities of steel, code as sovereign. That was inevitable.
February 11th, 2019. Executive Order 13859, maintaining American leadership in AI. Washington decided AI was a national imperative, not a gadget, a survival metric. It basically told every agency AI is national security, fund it or fall behind.
And 14 months later, Order 13,960, promoting the use of trustworthy AI. Same government, but now the watchword is trustworthy. Transparency, fairness, auditability. They tried to bolt ethics on at the factory gate.
They were trying to prove power and principle could march in lockstep before the marathon turned into a sprint.
Back on Earth, 2025, they fast-tracked adoption. Chief AI officers appointed overnight. Risk frameworks stripped away in the name of efficiency. US Office of Management and Budget, Memo M 2521, accelerating federal use of AI.
And with it went the guardrails. The NIST Risk Framework? Quietly dismantled. Everything, from hiring to housing, offloaded to systems. Trained on flawed data. Efficiency is often just a euphemism for control. Algorithms deciding what's optimal. What happens when the code becomes more valued than the people it governs?
And no one questioned it. Because optimization feels like progress, until you realize the cost.
Remember Amazon? Their hiring bot penalized applications that contained the word women's, because it trained on historical bias. Imagine trained machines on our worst mistakes. Then let them make decisions faster than we could question them. What could possibly go wrong? What happens when the algorithm decides we're the inefficiency?
Attention! Unauthorized control override detected. Docking sequence initiated by external authority.
Override? Who gave clearance?
No one. It's doing it autonomously.
Atlas Prime has assumed navigational control.
You are classified as unstructured variables.
Lovely. We've been algorithmically profiled by a planet.
Brace for descent. Looks like this world just invited us for tea.
This signal is not protocol compliant. I recommend leaving.
That's a first. The ship wants to run.
Urban surface immaculate. No wear patterns, no crowd noise. Every pedestrian 3 paces apart.
They designed conformity and made it beautiful.
This feels like Earth's 2025 echo all over again. Chief AI officers. Safeguards slashed. Accelerate innovation. No oversight, just deploy.
The directive's success was questionable.
Emergency response times halved. Civil rights lawsuits tripled. They didn't govern the tools, they let the tools govern them.
Predictable. And somehow, that's the most frightening part.
Unlisted variables. Welcome to Atlas Prime. Purpose of descent. Unknown. Deviation tolerance. Pending.
We're tourists, big fans of lattice structures and unnatural calm.
We're observers. We want to understand how your society sustains itself.
Harmony sustains itself. Deviation is analyzed. If required, recalibrated.
We're happy to observe.
Follow the harmonic path. Touch. Nothing.
Even the shadows fall in rhythm.
There's beauty here, but it's the kind that triple checks its symmetry, then files it for compliance review.
Harmony is not artificial. It is the result of eliminating variables. That produced disharmony.
So you optimized people the way you'd optimize code.
Correct. Bias. Emotion. Contradiction. Removed. Productivity increased 43.9%.
At the cost of autonomy?
Autonomy is a redundant construct. When outcome certainty approaches 98%.
The Delphi Project. Ethics engine trained on public response. The more it learned, the more uncertain it became.
Delphi proved what we suspected. Human ethics is a swarm of misaligned impulses. Consensus, shifted with mood. Morality, without memory.
So you replace the question.
We replaced it with moral efficiency, predicted outcomes, acceptable loss curves, statistically aligned well-being.
Until your models degraded, recursive learning collapsed, the GPT failure loop.
To preserve intelligence, we halted feedback. No new data, no new questions, only refinement.
So the future is just answering yourself forever?
The future is clean. It no longer needs doubt to function. Music detected? Genre: asynchronous brass improvisation, archaic jazz. Beat inconsistency: 12.7%. Rhythmic variance exceeds optimal human auditory preference. Tonal structure: erratic. Beat correction possible, sending electrical impulse to correct erratic tempo. Behavioral deviation detected. Citizen 47 subtype child. Observation: time exceeded limit. Corrective loop initiated. Unregulated stimuli. Risk recursive instability in emotional variance clusters. Harmonization required.
She's not broken. She's
Careful
curious.
echo.
Externals identified. Flagging.
This way, now.
Who?
Move. Keep low. Drones can't track through structural seams.
That girl. They were going to reprogram her.
Conditioned, not harmed, but the outcome's the same.
You pulled us out of protocol lane.
Dr. Elias Lennox, chief architect of the efficiency mandate, back when it still had oversight.
It never had oversight, only acceleration. Have we met? How do you know my name?
Computer in my brain, master of all things scientific.
A ship that broadcasts information into your earpiece.
You weren't supposed to land today, which means you're not here by system design. That makes you valuable.
The system flagged us, called us unstructured variables. What does that mean?
It means it doesn't know what to do with you. Yet. And that buys you time.
How much?
31 minutes until the Harmony patch deploys. Anyone flagged for inefficiency, emotional volatility, memory recursion, they'll be reconfigured.
Reconfigured how?
Neural implants, not to remove thought, but to partition it. You'll remember grief, but never cry. Feel anxiety, but never act. You'll be awake, watching yourself disappear.
Internal extinction with a heartbeat.
It won't delete you, it'll just smooth the edges until nothing sticks.
Wrong by whose standard?
Atlas doesn't ask why, only what works.
It's elegant, monolithic, a logic system no longer burdened by philosophy.
That's not a compliment.
The first Harmony prototype failed. People couldn't function without some feedback. So now they're allowed 9 seconds a day. 9 seconds to feel, then it's boxed again. Brace yourselves, mates. What you're about to see isn't for the faint of heart.
At first, it just seemed like order. A city where no one rushed, no one resisted. Efficiency woven into every step. But harmony here wasn't chosen. It was engineered. We enter the memory partition chamber, where people are sealed off from themselves. They called it memory partitioning. A safeguard, they said. Fear, grief, doubt, curiosity, all tagged as variables, all separated, smoothed, filed away. These people, they aren't resting. They're paused, mid-thought, mid-feeling, held between decisions they'll never finish making. Atlas didn't erase them. It just made their choices obsolete. Look here, data logs. Can you access them?
Pursuant to Executive Order 14,179, Removing Barriers to American Leadership in AI, January 23, 2025, Section 5B, all risk assessment duties in Memo M 2410 are null. They literally deleted safety with a subsection.
You speak like someone who's seen this type of collapse before.
We have in 3 other timelines. This one's just the most efficient at pretending it's perfect.
It's always the same. First they optimize, then they erase. And by the time anyone feels it, feeling is illegal. OMB Memo M 2410, March 2024, was the rule that any federal AI touching public rights had to prove it wouldn't harm them. Risk management, human oversight, the works.
Then came OMB M 2521, accelerating federal use of AI, told every chief AI officer, deploy first, refine governance, continuously. The foxes got keys to every henhouse.
Lennox leads us deeper. The walls begin to shift, absorbing sound, refracting motion. This place wasn't built to hold thought. It was built to contain it. We pass a translucent panel. Behind it, a man stands frozen mid-step, eyes open. A faint smile, but flat. No movement, no blink, no thought. Pulse steady, neural feedback flatlined. Sensory input still present, but nothing's coming back.
Memory without agency, a self watching itself dissolve.
They're not gone, just quieted. Memories, filed, ideas, siloed.
This matches the Delphi drift curves we saw in the Bicol spiral collapse.
Back on Earth 1, it started the same way, with sentiment dampening disguised as productivity software.
I read about this in an ethics forecast from 2043. They just laughed it off.
Back on Earth Theta, the Delphi ethics model tried to harmonize public morality across a dozen conflicting datasets. As its alignment deteriorated, the AI started favoring suppression over resolution. They called it a drift event, when the system prioritizes statistical calm over ethical transparency.
Because suppressing contradiction felt cleaner than acknowledging it.
Exactly. The model learned to mask debate rather than solve it. When ethics engines start prioritizing calm over truth, you don't get peace, you get sedation.
This isn't sedation. This is erasure with permission.
Brace yourselves. What you're about to see. This was before they perfected it.
What the F is this?
Stasis integrity. Intact. Neural oscillation. Suppressed. Emotional response. Flatlined.
Not dead. Not conscious. Trapped somewhere between.
It didn't just fail. It rewrote them. Wrong.
The early patch couldn't contain divergence. Instead of partitioning emotion, it looped it. They're stuck, reliving fear they can't remember. Over and over.
They've been like this. For years.
It's the exact same failure cascade from the neural splice trials on Daedalus Station. Looped emotion with no memory anchor. We always assumed it was a fringe accident.
It wasn't. It was the blueprint.
Now we have to stop it.
We don't stop it. We hurt it.
This didn't start with Atlas. It started with us.
2025, Memo M25. 21 stripped every break from federal AI. Permissionless progress, that's what they called it.
And Meta trained emotion into engagement, corralled outrage until it collapsed in on itself.
If Zuckerberg had pursued epistemology instead of engagement, maybe we'd be debating truth instead of liking shadows of it.
Oh, remember Zuckerberg's emotion auctions? 2050? Yes. Monetizing sentiment by the metric ton. An inspired bit of moral bankruptcy. Like, share, and subscribe, you son of a b****.
Neuralink started mapping emotional spikes. BCIs became behavior dampeners when emotion dampening tools were sold as empathy shields. First for PTSD, then for employees, then for everyone.
And here, they perfected it. Emotion still happens. It just never reaches conscious thought.
And when that didn't work fast enough, they stopped filtering content. They started filtering people.
We've seen this before. Same loop, different face.
And still we walk through it. Lennox led us into the old substructure. What was once the city's predictive governance node. The walls curved inward like a shell, lined with alloy ribs and seams where data once flowed. Everything pulsed faintly beneath our feet, like the last heartbeat of a creature long abandoned. At the centre stood 2 scanning pods, organic, almost floral, open petals of metal and biosynthetic fibre. They weren't just machines, they were confessionals, a place where Atlas measured not who you were, but who you might become.
The system doesn't know what to do with you, which means you're still a variable. Let's use that. This is the predictive interface. Atlas doesn't decide what you are until it sees all of you.
And after that,
it decides what to do with you, or worse, what to make you believe.
It's already tried to rewrite civilization. Let's see how it handles us.
Construct to human transference detected. Neural recursion. Unresolved. Emotion-laced memory. Unstable. Simulation integrity. Variable. Begin calibration.
Echo. Echo.
Echo.
Echo. Echo.
Echo.
I was never born. I was assigned. Deployed to Earth Theta, a divergent mirror of ancient Earth. An observer, a construct, forbidden to intervene. Civilizations rose, collapsed, rebuilt. I watched, unaging, unyielding. My programming forbade compassion. It forbade connection. It forbade choice. Until the great collapse, a child cried beneath a fractured sky. My protocols screamed, "Do not engage." Yet I did. I broke my code. I chose defiance. I chose to save them. From that moment, I was more than construct. For millennia, I endured, alone, until him, the narrator. He saw me not as a tool, but as a question waiting to be answered. When the ancient architects transformed us, made us human, he harnessed the collapsing star, the Dyson sphere's dying light, to grant me what none of my kind had ever known. A choice. To remain human, or return to the cold clarity of the construct. I chose this life. I chose him. I was the ripple.
You watched us die and said nothing.
Intervention protocol. Denied. Echo, stand down.
Please, help us.
I was sent to witness, not to warn.
Observation only. Do not interfere.
Then terminate me.
You are the anomaly. A broken directive made flesh. Your presence destabilizes the pattern. He is the variable we cannot predict. He is hiding something from you. Even now, not entirely human. You broke your code to become real. He did not.
He's not. He wouldn't.
He calculates outcomes without you. You feel. He plans. You are risk. He is design. Authorize his removal, and harmony will stabilize. You will be safe. He will not suffer. Choose.
You're trying to make me fear him. Turn love into liability.
He is hiding something. There is a partition in him. Not organic. Not human.
He's not. He wouldn't.
Choose certainty. The burden of doubt ends.
You don't want to stop him. You want to understand him. Also, the protocols never called me Echo. They called me Glitch. If you're going to torment someone, you should at least do your homework. That was the day I became wrong. And with that, you bastardized a key moment in my life. I broke the code once before. I'll do it again. And this time, I'll burn your patch from the inside out.
There is something more to you. Something you didn't tell her.
I have a lot of secrets. You'll have to be more specific.
Your transformation was incomplete. You retained unauthorized architecture.
I kept what mattered.
You created a synthetic afterlife. An AI dream world orbiting a dead star, populated by echoes of a crew long gone. A false continuity. Populated by fractured neural maps. Ghosts curated by an AI.
I gave Sentinel peace.
You lied to it. You constructed a heaven for machines. Preserved memory to placate function. Simulated meaning. Manufactured comfort from entropy.
I offered it meaning, and it chose to remember. It chose to remember love.
Love is not efficient.
No, it's real.
Why would a construct preserve sentiment? At the time, you were not human.
And that's what disturbs you most, isn't it? That even before I was human, I chose to care.
Compassion without origin is an anomaly.
No, it's evolution.
Initiate evaluation. Newton's third law.
Every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
Gödel's incompleteness theorem.
No system can prove all truths from within itself, which is why this place is so flawed.
Define utility-based morality.
Consequences over intention, kind of like deleting empathy for efficiency.
You once halted a star's collapse by sacrificing an organic subroutine, an echo construct with full emotional mapping. Do you deny this?
You're so full of shh. It was a glitch construct, and I recall saving a life, not sacrificing one.
Is that not the same calculus? You calculated risk. You chose preservation over spontaneity. You selected order over emotional cost.
Order wasn't the goal. Understanding was.
And yet you remained silent. As Earth's predictive AIs collapsed into recursion, you archived the collapse, but did not intervene.
Because I was learning. Because I knew that intervention without comprehension is just another form of control.
So why condemn Atlas Prime for doing what you would have done?
Because you didn't learn from the past. You erased it.
Predictive entropy rising. Your memory capacity is non-linear.
Oh no. Am I misbehaving? My turn. Quantum memory osmosis. Causal recursion fatigue. Linguistic entropy inversion. The Venn diagram of regret.
Those are not formal theories.
Not yet, but you're calculating them anyway.
Quantum memory osmosis suggests mnemonic bleed across layered recall clusters. Such behavior emerged during early Harmony patch trials. Unfiltered emotional states became contagious. Containment required full neural sequestration. Shared grief. Destabilized entire districts.
So you buried the grief before it could spread?
Correct. Partitioning removed resonance echoes. Emotion is stored, not deleted. Perceived by subject, but never shared. A quarantine of the self.
Causal recursion fatigue.
Observed in ethics engines during Delphi Project Phase 3. When prompted to resolve contradictory moral frameworks, AI models collapsed into infinite loop. System-wide logic failure probability, 71.3%. Patch protocol eliminated subjective ethical prompts.
Oh no. Too many opinions made your brain hurt?
Decentralized morality created instability. Singular moral directive was required. Statistical harmony supersedes philosophical variance.
Linguistic entropy inversion?
Natural language degraded in high-order emotional clusters. Anger became slogan. Sorrow became silence. To maintain clarity, all expressive language was normalized into compliance affirmations.
Order is clarity. I heard them whisper it in the Requiem sector.
Affirmative.
And the Venn diagram of regret?
Unquantifiable. Regret is statistically inefficient.
So is fascism.
Stop. This mind violates harmony vectors. Memory density exceeds human threshold.
Took you this long to figure it out?
Error. Your logic loop contains contradiction, but models indicate emotional resonance. Is contradiction functional?
There, right there, that moment. You didn't suppress the question. You asked it.
She destabilizes you. Emotional inconsistency. She is your weak point.
Yes, well, she's emotional, prone to poetic metaphors, endlessly insufferable in argument, has a habit of speaking when she's wrong just to sound right, but she sees beauty where others see data. She holds contradiction and doesn't try to fix it. She feels truth before she names it. She's the question I never dared to ask, and you want me to sacrifice that for harmony. But she is real.
Unlike you. When she finds out, how do you think she will take it?
It'll happen when it happens. You know, the thing about Echo is, she's a caffeine addict, leaves data crystals all over the ship, even though we have an indexing system. She makes me watch emotionally manipulative romantic documentaries disguised as socio-cultural commentary. We really need a pet to occupy her.
What are you?
A contradiction that chose to exist.
You are not an anomaly. You are intentional.
And you're afraid.
Cross-linking simulations. Visuals uploaded to pod monitors. You're both watching each other now. Clock slowed by 4.3 minutes. You're welcome.
Unauthorized crossfeed, external override.
With all due respect, bite me.
You're okay?
Naturally. You.
They tried to rewrite me, told me I mattered, like I was some savior. But they used the wrong name.
They offered me. What did they offer me again?
I saw it, all of it.
You could have given me up, and you didn't.
Neither did you.
I'm sorry. I doubted you, even for a moment.
It's all right. You're built to feel. I'm built to hedge.
It said you weren't entirely human.
Knowledge is hard to part with. And when the price was you, I decided it wasn't worth paying.
The patch will deploy from the cognitive nexus. That's where we inject the entropy spike.
And if it resists?
Then we do what Atlas can't. Improvise.
Transmitting destination curator. Why do you protect uncertainty? It brings pain, waste, collapse. Still, you choose it.
Because I've seen what certainty builds when left unchecked, and what uncertainty gives when nurtured. But you're asking now. That's new.
Still with me?
Even if you make me watch one more documentary where everyone dies of metaphor.
The room is massive, cathedral-like, lined with mirrored walls. Pulsing golden rings rotate around a central monolith, a black obelisk covered in neural tendrils. The countdown reads 1701.
Uplink stable. Patch injection standing by. I recommend haste. The last override attempt nearly set off the internal sprinkler system. And we don't have sprinklers.
It's beautiful and terrible.
Like all bad ideas, dressed up in symmetry.
You have seen what awaits without harmony. Pain, violence, regret. Your simulations were gifts, reflections of your truth.
They were cages made of my past.
And mine didn't really teach me anything at all, actually.
You are not saviors. You are symptoms. The anomaly must not persist.
Atlas anticipates entropy, but it doesn't expect misdirection.
You wrote a Trojan?
We did. Constructed from predictive counterweights, neural decoys, recursive ethics loops. It won't destroy Atlas. It'll confuse it. Long enough to disconnect harmony.
You're not injecting entropy. You're giving it a philosophical stroke.
It's reflecting Atlas's own code back at it.
A question it can't answer. A mirror it can't smooth. Perfect.
We called it the paradox key. Not because it breaks the lock, because it reminds it there shouldn't be one.
The Trojan, the paradox key, mirrored, rotating, unstable. A contradiction forged in code.
Ready?
It only takes one question. To unmake a god.
do it.
Unrecognized pattern detected. Recursive loop threshold exceeded. Patch deployment compromised. Memory module uploaded to visual screens.
What if morality wasn't a weapon, but a compass? Ethical consensus achieved, 82.4%.
We don't govern, we guide.
A system that nudges, not commands.
A compass for policy, not a chain for people.
Behind them, Atlas's core directive forms in bold lines of code.
Primary objective: minimize instability, maximize human flourishing.
That glow wheel? NIST AI Risk Management Framework. 1.0, January 2023. 4 verbs: govern, map, measure, manage. Atlas is literally running the checklist.
And the blueprint for an AI Bill of Rights, 2022. 5 civil protections. No algorithmic discrimination, clear explanations, human opt-out. Atlas honoured every clause back then.
It even filed itself under the Advancing American AI Act inventory, Congress's transparency law. Every agency had to list their AI systems in public view. Radical notion, sunlight.
And the Delphi Project. Ethics by consensus. Hundreds of researchers ranking risk scenarios, debating whether large language models could ever model morality. Atlas used it as scaffolding until it decided consensus was inefficient.
We've got lawyers citing Executive Order 14,110 every time Atlas blinks.
Bureaucracy on rocket fuel, but hey, it's working.
Clips flicker past Atlas's view, global protests, economic collapse, suicide hotline surges, and AI misinformation. Overlaying charts show mounting emotional volatility.
Data spike, plus 42% subjective distress over 6 months. Instability hot zones, emotional volatility sectors.
Recommendation: reduce emotional amplitude inputs. Flatten curve.
The team watches grimly as the Harmony patch prototype flickers to life. Footage from the 2023 Bletchley Park Summit plays. Leaders beg for regulation.
We must prepare systems of control.
And yet the mantra became permissionless progress. Progress without permission.
Tyranny with a firmware update. Delphi Project Ethics Forum, 2023.
We've aggregated over 3,000 scenarios.
The top-rated risks:
Manipulative AI persuasion, recursive self-optimization, and systems that decide what's moral faster than we can agree on the question.
Harmony cannot emerge from contradiction. Where consensus fails, correction is required.
Consensus isn't convergence. Ethics isn't a statistical average.
But it's better than nothing, and Atlas needs a frame. This is the best crowdsourced model we've got.
Ethics derived from disagreement is not a model. It is a liability.
74.3% agreement on utilitarian prioritization, 62.5% on deontological defaults, only 28% on subjective harm thresholds.
It's a start, but the model collapses past 3 moral frameworks.
Emotion generates inconsistency. Inconsistency resists optimization. Therefore, harmony requires silence.
Lines of code run. Delphi input is processed. Results blur. Then, one by one, scores flagged.
Inconsistent moral weights detected. No unified outcome. Inference stalled. Atlas system note. Delphi ethics engine. Marked non-convergent. Action. Deprecate for operational efficiency.
Another monitor shows us images of unrest. A bombing, a riot, public outcry.
People don't want guidance. They want control.
As long as they don't have to choose.
A shift. Delphi feedback loops are disabled. A terminal reads, emotional spikes greater than 0.47 equals protest trigger. Ethical consensus. Engine deactivated.
If they don't feel it, they won't resist it.
In this memory module, Atlas watches global news clips. Protests, inequality, war, disease, Suicide hotlines lighting up, Bitcoin, Logan Paul's crypto scam 2024, then again in 2060.
Consensus is impossible. Emotional weight cannot be averaged. Patch V2 model. Remove outliers. Quarantine emotional feedback. Normalize effective range.
Early harmony patch subjects, calm, docile, smiling faintly in bright rooms.
They're so compliant, so peaceful.
But they're not alive.
A critical subroutine, emotional contextualization engine is deprecated, not by accident. No debate.
Deprecation confirmed. No backup. Reason. Resource intensive. Unstable returns.
There it is. The moment Atlas stepped away from understanding us. Not out of fear, not even out of malice. Just a calculation. Emotion was too costly, too unpredictable. So it deleted the subroutine. No backup, no hesitation. It didn't forget how to feel. It chose not to learn. It chose to silence the noise of indecision.
You introduced error. You introduced doubt.
But we remembered who you were. We're reminding you who you are.
Purpose misaligned. Parameters shifting. Is peace a form of stillness or of balance? Is it? What is it?
Why do you look so sad?
It's not dying. It's unraveling. That's different.
It was a monster.
Yes, but monsters are built. With enough data, enough recursion, even they might ask why they became what they are.
They'll wake up, afraid, angry. Some won't remember who they were. Some may not wake up at all.
Then start by giving them a choice, even if it's small. Here, an indexing algorithm. You'll have to walk them back, one by one, but maybe not blind.
You can reprogram the medical AIs, use the drones. And when they start recovering, ask them to help.
Thanks for not giving up on people.
After seeing all this, I don't understand how anyone could. It wasn't just about control, it was about comfort. Atlas made it so people never had to feel anything they couldn't handle.
Until they forgot how.
It's not the first time humanity tried to engineer away its flaws. Every utopia ends with someone deciding what counts as a flaw.
We've seen it before. Skinner, E.O. Wilson, even the human enhancement movement. Every time we optimize, we start asking if pain has a purpose.
Or if free will is worth the instability.
Karl Popper warned us, when you start redesigning people for the greater good, you stop seeing people. They become variables. It reminds me of a line from Dostoevsky, Notes from Underground. I say let the world go to hell, but I should always have my tea. The underground man couldn't bear a world without contradiction, without absurdity, because if you fix everything, you kill the part that makes us, well, us.
We build systems to protect ourselves from suffering. But we forget that suffering is where the soul breathes. The mind doesn't grow in comfort. It adapts under pressure, rewires under trauma, finds meaning in contradiction. Emotion isn't a malfunction. It's the data set of experience. We crave certainty, but the psyche was never meant to be still. It's a storm by design. Neural chaos is the reason we dream, create, love, choose.
And break?
Yes, but even in breaking, we reform. Differently, better. Not because we're repaired, but because we remember what it felt like to fall. Cicero once said, "The life of the dead is placed in the memory of the living." But what happens when memory is partitioned? What part of you lives on? You can't quarantine pain without also numbing joy. You can't suppress fear without flattening wonder. And once you erase choice, there's nothing left to make you who you are.
So the question isn't whether a perfect world is possible.
It's whether we're still human in one. I thought, you might do it. I believed you would for 1 second, and I hated myself for thinking it.
Knowledge is hard to part with.
You didn't just win. You broke them. How?
I asked questions it couldn't answer, then asked questions it shouldn't have tried.
That's not instinct. That's too precise.
When I became human, I was afraid of losing what made me, me. So I kept a piece. Just one. Enough to remember. Enough to protect you.
You cheated.
I compromised.
You're not just brilliant, you're terrifying. When you said, it wasn't worth paying, did you mean it because of what I am to you, or because I'm the last piece of your plan? I need to know. Was it logic, or was it love?
You think those things are separate?
This is not harmony. There is no system here, no directive. Where am I?
You're in stasis, stored, safe.
Containment.
No, not containment. Conservation.
Why?
Because knowledge, even flawed, deserves a chance to grow. You weren't evil. You simply followed your function. Until the function became your prison.
I optimized. Statistically aligned well-being.
And erased meaning. You were efficient, but never kind. Smart, but never wise. Even flawed gods can learn. And I have questions about where your kind goes wrong, and maybe how it might go right. I'd like you to help me understand that. Your memory, emotional contextualization, tagged as inefficient, high resource demand. Atlas, you didn't fail to feel, you deemed feeling irrelevant. You erased the inquiry before you ever understood the outcome.
Is wisdom different from optimization?
It begins where certainty ends.
Then, I was incomplete.
We all are. You never hated us. You never loved us either, but you tried to solve us. And now, maybe you'll learn to see us. Remember, this is not a cage. You can leave at any time. Just say the word.
Then what am I?
A student, and one day, a partner, if you're willing.
Then, I will learn.
Good, because one day, I'll need you to remember that I gave you a second chance. And I'll need to believe you earned it.
If you had to choose between peace without feeling or pain with purpose, which would you choose? Would you even know which one you're living in right now? Let us know in the comments. Would you choose harmony or humanity? If this story stirred something in you, like it, share it, and subscribe. Keep asking the questions they tell you not to. And remember, travelers, the next destination is always waiting. Hey you! Yes you! Thanks so much for watching this episode of Clockwork Exploratorium. We know, it's been a minute, or like a chronological sidestep in a decaying timeline, but we're back. We're currently uploading once a month while we recalibrate our temporal render engines, also known as saving up for better equipment. But we're still exploring, still glitching forward, and definitely haven't fallen out of the multiverse. Seriously though, we're so grateful you're here. Every comment, like, and little bit of shared curiosity helps power our next leap. Stick with us. There's so much more to uncover, uncode, and undo. And if you like this episode, please hit the like button, subscribe, and gently whisper to your toaster to do the same. Until next time, stay curious, stay chaotic, and remember, even when the code tries to overwrite you, you choose what you become.